Welcome to Call to Be a Voice. My name is Carolyn Cofield. I can't name and number the times I've heard songs about waiting on the Lord, waiting in His presence, or waiting for a move of God. More recently, I was encouraged, blessed, and refreshed while listening to a song that simply repeated the words, "I don't mind waiting on you, Lord." Several weeks later, after feeling agitated after a time of waiting, I had to honestly confess to myself that I really do mind waiting, especially when my feet hurt and my stomach is empty. If the truth were told, even when we have to wait because we can't do anything else, we still don't like to wait. Sometimes we enjoy listening to and singing and humming along to music, not really thinking about the lyrics or the message behind the song. When was the last time you complained, grumbled, or became fearful, even tearful, anxious in the place of waiting? What about the words no or waiting do we not understand? Even when God tells us to wait, instead of resting on His word, we start trying to figure out things on our own. Reading from 1 Samuel, the 10th chapter, we find where the prophet Samuel told King Saul to simply go to a place called Gilgal and just wait for his arrival. Samuel told Saul to wait for 7 days, and he would meet him in Gilgal to give him his next instruction and marching orders. Sometimes God shows us the staircase, other times He only gives us enough light to make the next step. Samuel was a credible prophet who God spoke to and through. There was no reason for King Saul to doubt his words or misunderstand what he had spoken to him. Well, for the first couple of days, Saul was probably okay, busy organizing the army, going over military strategies in the war room, preoccupied with lots of paperwork and kingly stuff. Well, another couple of days, the natives are getting restless, but Saul is still trying to maintain his cool, maybe even reminding his men about what the prophet Samuel had told them about waiting. Oh, by the 5th day, Saul is restless. He's hot, he's tired, he's bothered, and maybe a little bored. Enough already. Samuel, where are you? I can't take the pressure. It's time to do something. All the men were probably asking questions, looking to Saul for answers that he didn't have answers to. By the morning of the 7th day, Saul was at his wits' end. It didn't take much for the spirit of pride to kick in. Maybe I misunderstood Samuel. Maybe I heard him wrong. God certainly wouldn't just want us to sit here and do nothing. After all, I am the king, and God speaks to me just like He speaks to Samuel. Who does Samuel think he is anyway, so we have to sit around and wait on him? He's not that important here. I'll show him who is boss. By my calendar and watch, I waited for 7 days. Samuel's not here. I kept my word. Samuel is the one who is late, not me. It's time to get the show on the road. Now, who was Saul trying to impress? What was he trying to prove? If you want to prove anything to God, prove you will patiently wait for Him to act, that you will obey his word no matter what. Even when we call ourselves doing something right, we can still do it the wrong way, at the wrong time, with the wrong motive. It is totally wrong to do something that may seem logical and reasonable when it's not God's clear word of direction or instruction. So Saul goes about doing his own thing, his own way. And just as fate will have it, on the 7th day, just as he promised, not early, not late, but right in God's timing, Samuel arrives on the scene. Saul, what have you done? Saul begins trying to justify himself at the expense of blaming others. He says, I did what I did because I saw the people were scattered from me and that you were late and the Philistines gathered themselves together and then I knew they were ready to attack. I needed to do something. I knew we couldn't go to war without a burnt offering to God, so I just forced myself to do what was needed to be done. Yeah, right. Samuel said to Saul, you have acted and done foolishly. Now your kingdom shall not continue. The Lord has sought him a man after his own heart and commanded him to be captain over his people, because you did not obey what the Lord commanded you to do. For Saul, it was a little too late. His disobedience and impatience cost him greatly. You see, we can even look like we're being patient, looking cool, calm, and collected on the outside. But like Saul, on the inside, we are impatient. We become angry, annoyed, anxious, and even fearful. So how do we wait? We have to wait with faith. believing that God cares for us and He loves us, knowing that He will be there on time. We must be intentional, obedient, and purposeful in our decision to wait on God's marching orders. Isaiah 25:9 says, "And it shall be said that in that day, Lo, this is our God. We have waited for Him. He will save us. This is the Lord. We have waited for Him. We will be glad and rejoice in His salvation." See, waiting on God doesn't have to be stressful, but it can be restful and even joyful when we wait in a place of trust and confidence, knowing that God is faithful and that His word will not return void. Sometimes I still relax and listen to that song. I don't mind waiting, knowing that although God may not come when I want Him to come, He'll be there right on time because He's an on-time God. Yes, He is. This is Sister C, praying that you will experience life and that more abundantly.